What's up everybody? I'm back with another how-to PC video. This video I'm going to show how to install a PCI Express expansion card. The items that are going to be used for this USB upgrade, the PCI Express USB expansion card. But this PCI expansion card gives me 4 additional USB 3.0 external ports. It's going to add a single USB 3.0 on the inside. I chose this because I have a USB cable using one of my rear ports feeding my lighting controller. So by having this, I can use the inside plug, freeing up 1 extra port on the back of the PC. It also has a 20-pin header made to the card. I'm going to use this for the other portion of the expansion, which is a filler plate for the back, which has a USB-C port made into it. It's got the male-ended 20-pin header plug on it. That goes here. The card receives its power through a 4-pin Molex. To power this, I have purchased a SATA power cable which splits to a Molex. On this, you can use it inline between any of your hard drive bays, and then this simply goes to the card. This particular cable was much longer than this, but for my application I shortened it so I don't have all the excess cabling inside the PC. Since this is a USB expansion job, I also found this on eBay. This is intended to extend 2 USB cables or 2 USB ports inside of a vehicle, but I'm using this in a different way. I'll route these through the desk to the behind the PC, and this right here I will drill a hole in my desk. I'll have this sitting recessed in my desk to where I have a more convenient place to do a quick plug of my cameras. So installing a desk mounted USB port, PCI expansion card, and a USB-C port, 1 modified SATA power supply cable. For the first step, I'm going to install my USB ports to the flush mount on the desk. So what I've done is I have chosen the appropriate drill bit, order cable, and right here is where I'm going to install this USB. So the cables through the desk hole. And then this guy should sit in there like so. And to hold it still, I use the retainer ring. Now I've got to make 1 more penetration in the back wall of the desk. This model is the HP Envy Phoenix 860-121 gaming PC. I have done quite a few modifications to it from its stock condition. I do have a couple of previous videos that shows those mods if you want to check those out. Before you get started in any PC modification, before you access the inside of a PC in any way, always attach an anti-static wristband. Always, 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 before you go in here. Above the video card, you'll see my PCI Express slot. That is where the card gets installed. These are the two vacant slots that will be utilized. First, we start with the anti-static wristband. Put it in position. I'm going to make sure my screwdriver doesn't have anything to discharge. Then we'll remove this cover plate. That gets removed. And then the upper one is a knockout. It has to be broken away. All right. That gets broken off. Now I have both places accessible. What I have to do inside my tower is my Wi-Fi adapter antennas have to be repositioned or they're not going to be a conflict. There we go. Now we take the PCI Express expansion card. This portion here goes into the PCI Express slot. We're going to do a dry fit. Make sure everything's in order. Everything is good to go. Here's the card placed inside the PCI slot, and you can see the card here on the back. You want to make sure the back plate is in its lock position on the bottom against the side of the case, and then up top. Now we'll add the USB-C. Here is the USB-C port. This plate goes in the same manner, except we're not attaching it to the motherboard. This one instead just goes into the back and locks in place. And there you have it. Here is the new card and the USB-C port. Again, you want to make sure everything's lined up on the bottom, lined up on the top, which in this case it is. So I'm going to reinstall this holding bracket. Make sure that's snug and everything else is snug. Do a test fit. Here's a USB-C plug. That's good. I have my clearance. I can tell by looking at this that I have my clearance on the USB expansion. Now I have my USB-C cable that I have to work into the wiring system here. This is where a personal choice comes into play on how well you like this type of thing to go as far as your wire maintenance. As you can see, I like to keep it nice and clean. As long as it's not in the way of a fan or any other critical device, you're fine. But in my case, my tower is see-through, so these things have to be put away in a manner that won't be an eyesore. So now I have to configure this wire to where it isn't just wadded up, because this portion of the computer is visible. Alright, now that I have the USB-C 20-pin cable put into position that I'm comfortable with, I'll set it aside. This is my LED lit USB data cable for my lighting controller. As I said before, it ran through the back and tied into a USB port. By adding this card, I can now have it plugged in inside the tower to where it doesn't use any of my external ports. So right now I'm going to install this. Alright, I have rerouted the USB cable for my lighting controller. It is now tied into the new PCI Express card. I routed it above it, down along top of the motherboard. And then it's again running across the bottom of the PC cabinet over into the controller. Now we're going to install the 20-pin connector header cable. Alright, that is installed now. I'm just double checking here to make sure it's going to clear the fan on the GPU. And it does. Now all that remains is installing the power cable. And I have this power supply here that feeds the lighting controller. It's an extra SATA power cable right here from the harness. What I'm going to do on this, line these sides up, plug this in line. I'll in turn put this with that. Now that that's where it should be, this comes over and supplies power to the card. And there's that. Now I'll just tuck all this aside where it's nice and neat, and again making sure it's not touching any of the fans. And there you have it, the power cable, 20-pin header, my USB cable, the green one, PCI card is in place, my USB-C card is in place, and there's a view of the back of it now. This is my video card. I routed the USB lit cable down and around. There's my lighting controller. Hey guys, now that I've got everything installed, inside there's the PCI Express card. Here is the USB ports that I installed in the desk. Now we're going to try this. My USB cable going to my lighting controller is lit. Okay, we're going to open up File Explorer. We'll drag it back over here for the time being. Alright, I'm going to zoom in just a tad there. Alright, here are my current drives. Alright, we'll plug this in. This is an external. Here goes the test. Speakers are on. You should hear it chime if it sees it. Oh, there it went. And there it is. And again, this USB port in the desk now is attached to the new PCI Express USB expansion. Everything seems to be working good. So if you have any questions, any comments, please feel free to do so below. If you haven't already, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, share the video, and most of all, thanks for watching.